I'll pay when I'm big." The words were so small, they barely seemed to belong in a supermarket that thrummed with fluorescent humming and coupon scanner beeps. Yet they sliced the air clean in half. Heads turned. The security dome over aisle 4 hummed, watching. Marcus Hale, the ghost tycoon, in one savage profile that compared his PR footprint to a whisper in a hurricane, turned toward the voice that had slipped past his defenses. Like a hymn in a cathedral, a girl, no more than 8, stood at the baby formula shelf, clutching a bundled infant, swaddled in a towel printed with faded rockets, her hair tufted into mismatched puffs, her knuckles grey with cold. The name stitched in loose thread across her frayed shirt read, Maya. The baby in her arms whimpered. Lungs the size of walnuts, fury the size of a thunderhead. "Hey!" barked the cashier, snapping a rubber band against her wrist like a warning shot. "This isn't daycare. Out." Maya flinched. She hooked her chin over the baby, Noah, as if her body alone could shield him from the bright, cold light of being seen. Shame stiffened her shoulders. She turned to leave. "She's not stealing," Marcus said, voice low, crisp. People looked harder now. That voice bought companies. "Mr. Hale," the cashier stammered, eyes as round as registers. "Sir, look at her." "I am," he replied, stepping forward. To Maya. "What's your name?" "Maya." She didn't look up. "This is my brother Noah. He's one." "You walked here in this?" Marcus asked. The automatic doors exhaled a sheet of January wind across their ankles. Chicago outside was a freezer with streetlights. Maya nodded. "We ran out of milk. He cries. Mum sleeps. Loud." She winced. "I waited for her to dream so she wouldn't follow. She screams sometimes. I didn't want people to stare." From the magazine rack, a woman whispered, "That's the kid from under the Ashland Avenue Bridge." Near the beer fridge, a man added, "Dad's locked up. Mom's not good." "Do you have a coat?" Marcus asked. Maya shook her head. "We have a blanket. It's our warmest thing." Math spun through Marcus's mind, but not the kind with margins and margins of zeros, contingencies, risks, if-elses that had built empires. None of it applied here. This was another kind of ledger. "What do you do?" he wondered aloud, "when a kid shows up braver than the boardrooms ever asked you to be?" Aloud he said, "We're buying more than milk. Stay close." He loaded a basket with whole milk, infant formula, bread, wipes, canned soup, diapers, thermal socks, a knit hat topped with a pom-pom the size of joy. At the counter, Maya straightened on tiptoe to slide the milk forward like an offering. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "But I meant it. When I grow up, I'll pay you back. Pinky promise." "I don't doubt it," he said, dead serious, and hooked his smallest finger to hers. "Contracts are contracts." Outside, the wind slapped hard. "Where are you staying?" Maya hesitated, then. "Under the bridge. Ashland and 18th. There's a dry corner by a big rust pipe. Don't talk loud. It scares Mom." They walked. He shrugged out of his wool coat and draped it across her shoulders. It practically swallowed her. She wore it like a story she wasn't sure she deserved yet. Beneath the overpass, the city's heartbeat was tires on wet concrete. A woman stirred in a nest of blankets. Eyes wild until Noah reached for her with chubby, pleading hands. "Mom," Maya called. "He helped us." The woman, Lena, calmed, but her gaze stayed sky-wired. Every muscle braced for a fight she'd already lost 3 times this week. "We're okay now," Maya told Marcus, sudden as a door slamming. "You can go. I just needed milk." Marcus didn't move. "Maya, I want to come back tomorrow. Would that be all right?" Her head tilted, suspicious of the absurd. "Why?" "Because someone should." That night, Under the roar of the L, a little girl hummed through a baby's hunger. High above the river in a glass apartment where every surface gleamed like a kept promise, a man sat with a stranger's towel, still warm in his hands, and understood for the first time in a long while what it meant to be needed somewhere. A camera caught the moment. The internet would have called it, "It's giving human." He didn't wear the armor the next day. No suit, no tie, just jeans, a navy hoodie, a heavy coat that told the wind to mind its business. Marcus found the corner of the underpass that memory had circled in red. The tarp, the shopping cart, the cardboard flattened by 100 nights. Maya was there. Noah, a second heartbeat beneath the borrowed coat. "You came back," she rasped. "I said I would." He handed her a thermos. Hot cocoa, not too sweet. She sipped, eyes going wide like the first time you see snow. "It tastes like Christmas." A shape rustled behind the plastic sheeting. Lena emerged, tired. Beautiful the way a cliff edge is beautiful, jagged and honest. "You again," she croaked, voice sandpaper and glass. "I brought breakfast," Marcus said, placing a paper sack down and stepping back. "Egg sandwiches, 2 blankets." Lena snorted. "Rich folks always think blankets fix things." "They don't," he agreed, "but they help." She tore into a sandwich, sniffed, took a bite. Maya relaxed like a rubber band unspooling. "You at the city? CPS?" "No, just me." "That worse," Lena muttered. But the corners of her mouth thawed a millimeter. "You got kids?" She shot back a minute later. "No," he said. "My wife died 10 years ago." "You lonely?" "Sometimes." Silence stitched itself between them. Cars thundered overhead like distant war drums. "You still want to help?" Lena asked, half challenge. "Yes." "Then don't bring charity. Bring a way out." It landed like a gavel. "Not sandwiches, not milk. Exit." "There's a motel 3 blocks away," he said. "A week. Warm bed. Lock on the door. No catch." She stared. You could almost hear the calculus. The cost of hope versus the price of disappointment. Finally, "We'll go. But if you lie, I won't." They walked. Maya's hand slipped into his and stayed there like it had always been meant to. Before they reached the lobby, she tugged his sleeve. "You didn't have to come back," she whispered. "But I'm glad you did. So am I." The motel room wheezed heat like an old dog. The carpet smelled like ghosts. But to Maya, it bloomed like a fairy tale with bad lighting. "It's warm," she breathed. "There's shampoo, toothbrushes, towels, diapers," Marcus said, setting down a small duffel. Gratitude didn't come. Trust doesn't take commands. But the air changed temperature. Maya drew him a picture on a napkin. A tall man holding hands with a girl and a baby. The word home, scribbled over a crooked door. He folded it like scripture and slid it into his pocket. "Don't get too close," Lena warned at the door. "I'm not here to rescue," he said. "I'm here to walk beside you, as far as you'll let me." That night, the lights of downtown looked like galaxies trying to say something. He sat on his sofa and didn't he drink his scotch, and thought about a napkin burning a hole in his chest. Somewhere, 3 miles away, a child was warm because he'd shown up. Plot twist. The showing up was the point. Morning came with rain. Marcus arrived at the motel with pastries and a new puffer coat-sized tiny lion, only to find the door to 109 open, the bed made, the toiletries untouched, the blankets folded like a salute. Empty. "Where'd they go?" he asked the gum-chewing clerk. "Lady said they couldn't stay. Left at dawn." His stomach pitched. He checked the bathroom and the closet, as if they could hide trust there. They couldn't. He drove. Shelters. Soup kitchens. Corners haunted by rumor. At a red brick community center, painted with a mural of smiling kids whose paint had scabbed. A woman at intake said, "I saw a girl with a baby yesterday. Big eyes, took diapers, didn't stay, asked about food banks near Humboldt Park." By 3, he was cruising past gleaming puddles and pigeons conducting their messy symphonies. He was about to surrender to the awful passivity of hope when he saw a bulletin board in a corner store. Found Child S jacket, blue with stars. Wilshire and Hoover, wrong city, wrong coast. Chicago still steals LA's words when it wants to. He called. They were by the laundromat next to the taco spot, the voice said, headed toward the park. He found her behind a low hedge near the lake, not crying, singing, a sound thin as floss. "Maya!" he called. She froze, then turned. Relief cracked her face like sunlight through a boarded window. "You found us," she said. "Where's your mom?" "She went for medicine, this morning." Her shrug was a surrender and a dare. Sometimes she gets stuck. Stuck. Her head buzzes. She runs. She always comes back. A wind cut across the water. The temperature dropped like a bad decision. "You're not staying here tonight," he said. "But your mom wants you safe. So do I." He lifted Noah, who collapsed into his chest like a question answered by gravity. They walked to his building. His elevator opened into the living room. White leather, clean lines. The architecture of solitude. "This is where you live?" Maya asked. "For now," he said. "It's where you'll live too." "I've never had my own bed," she whispered. "Then we're overdue." He tucked Noah into a nest of blankets on the couch. He handed Maya socks so fuzzy, they almost apologized for everything. The first time she let herself cry, it made almost no sound at all. He watched the city flicker awake under the bruised sky. He called a retired detective, Micah Quinn, who owed him favors and understood the difference between a case and a life. "Find her," Marcus said. "Please." "Copy," Micah replied. "Bill you whatever it takes." "You will," Marcus said, and smiled, because money had finally remembered its job. By dawn, he smelled toast. He found Maya poised on a stool, studying a toaster, like a spell in a book. "Morning," she yawned. He answered with coffee, and a laugh he hadn't used in years. When he asked about Lena, Maya said, "She went to the corner pharmacy yesterday, but I think she didn't make it. Sometimes she fights shadows." She stared at the juice glass like it might understand. Micah called at 9. "We has got a possible woman matching at a free clinic on Temple. Anxious, barefoot, asking for baby meds. Officers missed her by 5. Safe places she'd go?" Micah asked. Marcus sifted Lena's breadcrumbs. "Music." Maya said a Korean church near Wicker Park with a choir that made her mom smile. An hour later, "Found her," Micah said, "behind the church, crying with a broken baby bottle. Got her to my wife's trauma clinic. She's calm, for now." Marcus drove. The clinic hid behind a florist that sold grief by the stem. In a back room, Lena curled on a vinyl couch, blanket around her like a moat. She looked up and didn't know him. Then did. Her eyes searched his face, like it might be a trick. "Where's Maya?" "Safe, with Noah, at my place." Her body sagged, then stiffened. "I didn't mean to leave. He needed medicine. I was trying." "I know," Marcus said. "You were doing your best. There are apologies that are really permissions to keep breathing." She didn't exactly forgive him for showing up. She forgave herself for letting someone stay. "Come home," he said. "Yours?" she whispered. "For now. Until we figure the next step." The elevator dinged. The penthouse exhaled. "Mama!" Maya launched into Lena like joy had a running start. Noah kicked at the air, already plotting mischief. They held one another the way people do when time caves in and gives back a little of what it stole. Lunch was grilled cheese and tomato soup, the sacred food of people remembering how to be people. He burned one. The second was edible. Progress is loud in small rooms. I'll find transitional housing with support, Marcus said later, laying options on the table like chess moves. Therapy, job placement, childcare. You can't keep doing this, Lena said, voice small as a match. I can until you tell me not to. I don't want Maya thinking people like you are magic, she insisted. There's no rescue arc. There's work. She won't, he said. She's already doing it. A knock. Micah stood in the doorway, charcoal suit, quiet eyes. Check in, he said. Then, one more thing. Word yes out someone S. Asking around for a woman with a baby and a little girl. No name. Talk of debts. Lena went white. Rico, she whispered. Noah's father. He's meaner when he's clean. He said I owed him. He said he'd take the baby if I didn't pay. Micah's jaw set. We filed today. Emergency order. We put his name on the paper trail. Maya edged up beside Marcus. Are we safe? Yes, he said, like an oath. And if fear knocks, it can talk to me. Okay, she said, and in kid law, that meant it was true. By noon the next day, the protection order was live. Laws don't stop fists, but they give consequences teeth. Lena and Micah went to the precinct to make it formal. Marcus stayed behind with the kids, building a pillow fort worthy of zoning permits. Then the lobby buzzed. Mr. Hale, said the security desk, voice warped by intercom static. There's a man downstairs asking for Lena Walker. Says he's her husband. Send him up? Absolutely not, Marcus said. Hold him. I'm coming down. He found Rico by the revolving door. He moved like a roomer with elbows. Hoodie up. Smirk for armor. You're trespassing, Marcus said. You her new boyfriend, Rico sneered. I'm the guy between you and the people you hurt. Rico raised his hands like a performance of innocence. Just want to talk. You forfeited that right, Marcus replied. If you step toward that elevator, you leave in cuffs. Rico's eyes slid over the marble, up the chandelier, back to Marcus's face. Money makes you brave, huh? No, Marcus said. Love does. Money just pays for the extra locks. Security crept forward. The air got tight, like a held breath. Rico laughed, a mean, brittle sound. Tell her, he said, heading for the door. This ain't over. It is, Marcus said, voice calm and terrifying. You just haven't caught up. He logged everything. Description, footage, statements. He sent the videos to Micah with a text that read, We stay ready. That night, the city wore rain like a veil. Inside, Lena stared out at the slick streets and confessed to the window, I can't breathe when I think of him. Then he's not allowed to rent space in your lungs, Marcus replied, guiding her to the couch. We're changing the locks on the inside too. She looked at him. Why do you care? Because I like the person I am when I show up for you, he said. And because Maya's drawings are getting dangerously good at making me cry. She barked a laugh. It's giving feelings. It's giving inevitable. Don't say that, she whispered. But she didn't move away. Micah said the thing no one wants to say. We should relocate, temporarily. He's circling. A small house in Pasadena Heights. Chicago has a Pasadena. Not really. Realtors have fantasies. Waited at the edge of a sleepy cul-de-sac. Fenced yard, creaky mailbox. Wind chimes that couldn't keep rhythm. Marcus prepaid 6 months and brought groceries, books, and a ridiculous selection of muffins. Because butter heals. The first nights felt like holding one's breath. By the fourth, the house exhaled. Crumbs on the table. Crayons under the couch. baby socks stowed in impossible places. Lena planted herb pots on the sill like little saints. Maya started a journal titled Big Brave Feelings, because branding matters. One evening, on the small back porch, under a sky that finally remembered how to glitter, Lena said, "Do you ever regret it, taking us in?" "Never," Marcus said, then, because honesty had started to feel like a habit, especially now. Her smile was a soft yes, not a promise, a permission. Then Micah called. "We have a location. He hits a bear in East Garfield Park every Thursday, talks too loud, hustles pool. We can pick him up clean." "I want to be there," Lena said, steel under skin. "You don't have to," Marcus answered. "I do," she replied, "to tell him he doesn't own my story." The takedown was swift. Sirens stayed off. Hands stayed steady. Rico spat curses like seeds. When he saw Lena, he lunged or tried to. The officers moved like a door shutting. Lena stepped forward, voice level as a plumb line. "You will never touch my children. You will never cash another check written in my fear. It ends here." He laughed, a sound that didn't know it was over. She didn't flinch. Micah led her back to the car. Marcus didn't speak. Some silences you hold like crowns. On the ride home, Lena stared out the window and said, "That wasn't brave." "It was," he said. "It was necessary," she countered. Sometimes those are synonyms. Peace doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It just lets you sleep. Breakfast tasted different the morning after the arrest. Oatmeal hummed. Blueberries popped. Maya made a certificate of bravery with glitter that would colonize the house until Noah left for college. On a quiet afternoon, Lena wrote a name she hadn't said in 15 years. Temeka, her sister. Last known orbit, Sacramento. Maybe Oakland now. Maybe books, and a steady paycheck, and shelves that didn't judge. Marcus made calls the way other people make tea. By evening, an address, a phone number, a pulse of possibility. "I don't know if I'm ready," Lena said. "There's no deadline, just a door," Marcus answered. She dialed. "Hello?" A soft voice answered, then hitched into a sob. "Sarah?" Names drag old ghosts. The mouth remembers. "Lena," she corrected, laughing through tears. "It's me." They met at a small campus library that smelled like ink and future. Hugs first. Apologies later. There's an order to repair. Tamika had the same eyes, quieter now, stronger in the places that used to break. "My kids," Lena said, presenting them like royalty. Maya performed her art show. Noah contributed a sticky grin. "You found safety," Tamika whispered. "I found people," Lena said, glancing at Marcus. A week later, a letter arrived with handwriting that used to scold in cursive. "Mom, I'm sorry for the loud, sorry pride, out-screamed love. If you found peace, let me believe I helped even by staying away." "I don't know what to feel," Lena said on the porch, shivering under a blanket of spring. "Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself," Marcus said. "It's not a bus pass back to the hurt." She wrote back, "Not today, soon." Meanwhile, she took the kids to the Museum of Black History and stood before a pair of small shoes behind glass. "She was 8, Lena whispered to Maya. "And she marched." "She looks brave," Maya said. "She was," Lena answered. "So are you." At home, Lena wrote letters to her children and tucked them into a wooden box. Truths like breadcrumbs, in case anyone ever got lost again. Trend check. When she sealed the first envelope, Maya announced, "It's giving legacy." They both laughed until they cried. The community center emailed, "Panel on rebuilding." Would Lena speak? She snorted coffee across the table. "Me? I'm still duct taping myself together." "People don't need perfect," Marcus said. "They need true." She wrote notes that weren't notes, so much as a heart on paper. The night of, the auditorium filled with folding chairs that had seen things. 3 other speakers sat alongside her, an addiction counselor, a formerly incarcerated mentor, a therapist whose eyes understood. I used to think surviving was the goal, Lena told the room. Then I had my daughter, and surviving wasn't enough. Silence held. Then a tide of applause that moved like weather. Afterward, a stranger hugged her and whispered, "I'm leaving tonight, because of you, at home, to make her brewed tea in mugs that didn't match, and said, 'You were a hit.'" I didn't faint. Lena grinned. She pitched a writing circle to the advisory board. She somehow found herself on. Still Standing, a weekly workshop for women reclaiming their narratives. 10 showed up, then 14. They wrote Rage and Lilies, and Rent and Laughter. They wrote themselves back into their names. "First time you realized you were more than what happened to you?" Lena asked. The answers broke and mended the room. She started her book in a robin's egg blue room that used to be storage. I was invisible before I became a mother. Then I realized I'd been seen all along by the wrong people. She wrote 6 pages that first soggy Friday. Kept going. The house learned to love the scratch of a pen at midnight. One afternoon, the mail brought a letter with a handwriting that slanted like regret. "Rico, I'm in recovery. 6 months. I can't fix what I broke, but I can say the words and not ask for anything in return." I don't owe him a reply, Lena told Marcus. "You owe yourself peace," he said. So she wrote a letter she didn't send. "I forgive you because I want peace, but I won't forget, and I won't go back." She tucked it in the box with the others. Closure doesn't always need witnesses. Weeks later, a counselor from West Ridge Correctional called. He asked to quote those lines for an exhibit on accountability. "Your words are helping men who might never hear a voice like yours." "Let him," Lena said, surprised to hear herself mean it. Let it help. When she hung up, she looked at her children, at Marcus slicing tomatoes in their kitchen like he belonged to the room, and realized the weight inside her had shifted, not gone, better carried. The center strung warm bulbs across the ceiling and called the evening still standing. Voices of survival. Volunteers brewed coffee that tasted like Sunday mornings. Cookies showed up covered in neon frosting, because joy doesn't need subtlety. One by one, women approached the mic. Poems that bled light. Journal entries like open windows. Letters to past selves who'd survived nights they never confessed. Laughter spiked through tears like glitter in grout. When Lena read, she began where the story began. A corner store, a promise at a checkout light. "I said I'd pay when I grew up," she admitted, voice steady. "I didn't mean money." She closed with the line that had become their north. "I begged for milk and found a miracle. I thought I was falling apart, but it was the beginning of becoming whole." The room rose. Not because she was a hero, because she was a mirror. After, a silver-haired woman said, "I don't know you, but you spoke my name." Another pressed a folded note into Lena's palm. "Leaving tonight. Thank you." At home, Maya crowned her with a paper tiara. "Queen of Brave" in glitter pen. "Then you must be the princess." Lena laughed. "No," Maya said solemnly. "I'm the author." Marcus found Lena later at the kitchen sink. Hands in soapy water, eyes bright. "You were incandescent," he said. "Big word," she teased. "It's giving SAT." He dried a plate, mouth suddenly uncertain. "You know you don't owe me anything. Ever." "I know," she said, stepping closer. "Maybe that's why I want you to stay. Not just for dinners and leaky pipes, for the whole sentence." They stood in a quiet that didn't ache. Somewhere in the house, a crayon rolled off a table and thunked onto the floor. Regular life asked for attention. They laughed, the kind of laugh that says yes without using the word. Later, under a sky finally clean of storms, Lena wrote the last line of her first draft. This isn't a rescue story. It's a choosing story. If you're reading this, you've already started. Marcus tucked Maya's first napkin drawing, creased from 1,000 checks, back into his wallet. He'd kept every version since. Home, trying, US. The words evolved as the rooms did. In the morning, they took a walk past mailboxes that creaked and neighbors who waved without asking for the headline. Noah chased a butterfly and nearly caught it, proof that hope has terrible aim, but excellent persistence. Maya slipped her hand into Marcus's without looking, the way people do when something has been true, long enough to feel inevitable. "It's giving forever," she announced. And for once, no one argued.